Hi guys, welcome to Harian Research. Here we'll be talking about stock markets, everything for educational purpose. Without further ado, actually, first let's look at what is happening into Nifty. So about Harian Research, educational company based in based out of Madhya Pradesh, India, and here you can learn a lot about stock markets. Everything educational, and it's like in this videos in the daily market analysis we'll be talking not only about the Indian indexes, but we'll be talking about gold, silver, what is happening into USD INR, what is happening into Nasdaq, other stock markets around the world. I'll be discussing some sort of geopolitics, a blend of all of it, and which is very much correlated to stock markets. And we'll be talking about what is happening into US oil, small cap and middle cap index of India. I won't be giving you any sort of verdict that this is the trade that we should be taking or that is the trade. Everything will be much more of just data driven, what exactly is happening, and we'll be using a lot of different websites in order to understand what is happening or what we will be evaluating. Without further ado, let's look at what is happening into Nifty. So if you look at the daily chart of Nifty, first in order to get a very good glimpse of markets, always use a bigger time frame chart. There you'll be able to learn that how exactly markets are performing. If you actually look at it, you'll be able to draw support and resistance based on the higher time frames, and that these are the support and resistance which actually works most of the time. Someone asked, right, that how exactly you draw support and resistance. How do you understand that from here the markets can go till here? On a 6 months time frame you'll be getting big ranges. So you can use for intraday trading or not, but suggest not to use all of these. It is just to understand what is happening on a daily, what can happen for the next 8 to 20 days when we are trying to analyze on a daily time frame. So if you actually look at it, I have drawn all the open, high, low, close of the previous candles, except the current candle. And if you look at it, right, open, high, low, close of this July candle or January candle, and this July 2024 candle. So every candle here representing a 6 months time frame, right? Single candle is giving 6 months overview. If you look at the daily chart, then now you look at the daily chart. So what's been happening, that market tried to breach this all-time high levels of Nifty. Again it tried to go, there was some sort of trap, and some sort of news, there's that it is affecting. But when you're comparing the September 2024 levels to other stock markets, the stock markets from different nations, you'll be able to understand that all the other stock markets have given much more returns when you're actually able to look at it. If to give you a perspective, we'll look at DAX. DAX is German index, right? It's like Germany ka stock markets like flagship index. So the whole Europe will be able to judge with the help of this index that what is happening into the stock markets of Europe. If we actually look at it from a September 2024 perspective, you'll be able to see this, that it has given astonishing returns. September of 2024. This was some sort of Nifty ka high, if I'll be able to mark it down. Just to give you a glimpse how much returns it has given. From September 2024 till now, DAX has roughly given 30% return. You're just comparing the how much returns the markets gave from the point of view of all-time high. So Nifty ka all-time high was in September 2024, correct? It's been 1 year, more than 1 year, right? From September 2024, the markets have actually given negative percentage returns when we are actually talking about Indian markets, right? 2% negative. Now we look at Shanghai Stock Exchange, SSE composite. China has given a lot more percentage return in the past, and but to give you a glimpse of what's been happening to Chinese market, you'll be very much shocked to understand this, that this is not the peak time of China. This is not the peak time of their stock markets. Actually, they are approaching their all-time high, but still they have lot of gap to cover up. This happened back then in 2000, 2008, 2007, 2008, when the whole the global markets were at the kind of all-time high. But to give you a glimpse that actually the chart looks not much good when we're talking about investment perspective. But like it's been falling from a very long time. If you look at the highs and from 2015, it has not recovered till now. But when you look at the lows of September 2024, you think you can compare. Still, it has given returns. Like, even if you compare it with the peak of this, still it has given like 12% return. Let's compare it to Nikkei, the flagship index of Japan. It's like from July or from September of 2024 again. I was marking some sort of highs and lows this time. It has given 34% return, more or less compared. More or less like what sort of returns European markets have given. DAX, their flagship index. Now we'll try to compare it with S&P 500, Nasdaq, and Dow as well. So these are the indices that people care a lot about. These are US indices. There's a main index there. Nasdaq comprises of 100 companies. S&P 500, from the name itself you can understand. Standards and Poor, like it's comprised of like 500 companies of this is the flagship index of. When you actually want to look at what's been happening into US, you pick up S&P 500, you pick up Nasdaq, you pick up Dow. That's where you'll be able to understand what's been happening into their markets. From September 2024, if you actually look at it, because of all the AI boom that's been happening, almost it has given 23% return. So all the markets have given some sort of very good percentage return. I've compared majorly all the big economies, right? India, China, US, Japan, top 4-5 countries, and that's what we should care about. Like the European market, we have compared DEX, but the market capitalization is much less in terms of our markets. So I'll try to paint a picture of what's been happening into our markets. If you actually look at it, that because of all the Trump tariff fear that markets been falling from quite a couple of days, it formed a hammer at the bottom of the channel. So this is what downward trending channel we'll talk about. These are the support and resistance we have drawn on a 6 months time frame. So today if you look at it, the closing is kind of good, like even though the index closed at 60 points down, but even if you look at the structure itself, the moment it will if it actually, this will be considered as a hammer appearing at the bottom of the channel, like it seems like it suggests that the markets go up after that. That is what the theory tells us, that inverted like hammer appearing at the bottom of the channel, early signs of reversals. There's a reversal candle we talk it. If it actually if the daily candle actually gives a closing below this hammer, then we will not be considering this as a hammer and the markets might fall down. In that scenario, we'll be looking at from that perspective. So 25,669 seems like a good support here. Like last support that we can pretty much see is 25,500 is acting as a good support. 26,100 is acting as a resistance as of now, right? So even if you are able to look at from a risk to reward perspective, even if you are going long, there's not much upside with what you can actually capture. It's like a 1.5% upside with a 1% or less than this. So risk to reward will not matter even if you are going long. Now we'll try to study what is the story of Bank Nifty. So like this is showing early signs of that maybe this is a reversal candle, that maybe the selling has cooled down and the charts are ready to move up. But on what logic have made the support and resistance? This is not on a 6 months time frame, or I have drawn these all the support and resistance on a monthly time frame. If you are actually able to look at monthly or a 3 months time frame. Why do I go for a higher time frame? So that the chart becomes crystal clear. Yeah, if you look at it, there's a 3 month time frame, and these are not leaving the current candle, the closing of this the opening price of this, the highest price of the previous candle, and then we'll look at what's been happening in daily time frame. So markets, okay, it's like over 6 months. Give me 1 minute. One, two, so are there a couple of lines that I'm not able to. 60,000, there's a resistance. There's 59,596. There's some sort of closing of it is at 59,581. Okay, yeah, did about that. So we'll remove this line, right, to make it more clear. We'll remove this line, and then looking at the daily, daily chart of it. Seems like if it actually breaks into this territory, this sort of rejection 60,100 will be some sort of rejection for the bank nifty, and then if it breaks, then the chart might move higher, and you can see that like wherever we have drawn support and resistance, there's some sort of daily time frame that is giving some sort of confirmation that okay, these are the actual some sort of support and resistance. This might help. You can try it at home. And we'll go to analyze section in Sensibull. We'll be using Sensibull in order to understand what's been happening into OI, what's been happening to FIDI, data, options, futures, cash. What's been happening into the world calendar, that some interest rates and this and that been happening. Yeah. So when you actually try to look at from the OI perspective, there's a major resistance at like 25,800 and a major resistance at 26,000. So our chart was telling that 26,100 is acting as a major resistance. So on what basis this data is telling us? This is OI change, open interest, the number of contracts that are in the markets. So a call. So this is option writing data. So a call writing suggests that a lot of people are building their positions. Like people are building on their positions on the bearish side of the market. So if the markets fall, call writers will be the one who will be making money. Put writing is nothing but basically trying to be bullish on market. If the market goes up, put writers will make money. So if you understand this data, this is divided into every 50 points. So when you actually see the bars at some sort of levels which are at much higher scale, the red bars at a much higher scale, suggesting that market, this will be hard for Nifty to actually cross. There are a lot of people who have put in their bet on that strike price that the markets might not actually crack that, and they'll be able to make money, and they'll be able to eat the theta decay till 20th of January. But as that this data changes every day, so like you don't have to stick to it that that something is happening. You have to look at the data every day. So this seems 26,000 and 25,008 is acting as a resistance. There's no good support that we can see for Nifty as of now. What is happening into FI data? We actually try to dive it in. This is options data. So these are the number of contracts that are that FIs have put in place and pros have put in place and client has put, like what are all these participants of markets? FI is foreign institutional investors, pro is proprietary desk, client is retail traders like you and me. So if you actually look at the data, it's like FIF today what they did is like they did some sort of call writing, they did some sort of put writing, negligible, but like they had a say that the markets might go down, and they're building their position. If you look at the net positions of FI, they have bought like 2.82 lakh put options, and they have shorted call options, 32,000 contracts of call options. Net they're mega bearish on markets. Even if you look at the Proca picture, they have done some sort of call writing today at 47,000 contracts of call writing, 72,000 of writing, put writing. They made some sort of bullish positions today, but net, if you are able to see, they are actually pretty much neutral on markets, but still they are they are put heavy. Like they have bought 1.14 lakh put options and they have sold 85,000 call options. Both of the data shows that they are bearish on markets. So if the markets fall, FI and Pro will be the ones who will be making money. To cut the long story short, right? And what's happening into the client? So client is mega bullish on market. It's like they have bought like 1.16 lakhs call option and they have sold 4.24 lakh put options. So in order to understand what is put buying, what is put selling, I highly suggest you visit our website www.harrianresearch.co.in, where we teach about all this market related stuff. Everything on a very educational basis, nothing that we are giving advisory of, not stocks, not indexes. Right? We are not authorized to do all of it. If you look at the futures data, what's been happening on to the futures side, what FI has been doing, they've been adding their futures, to their future sell position. So they are bearish on market when we are trying to understand that what is their position on the futures side. So they are increasing their position overall on the futures side. They are increasing their future sell position. What I've observed, I've been tracking this data from a very long time, since Abid it's been doing the daily market analyst, this that. And at the moment I see that they're cutting down and they're making money, right? Futures, they're doing future selling and the market's been falling. They're making money. The moment the data turns around and actually the FIs started buying futures, and then when they cut short their positions of futures sell, markets just drastically moves up. So you have to, you can actually watch this thing. Like if at all this follows, that they start cutting their futures position, the markets might actually go up, and it's a very good very good way to understand that how exactly market works. Nothing that I'm giving any sort of advisory of to go on to make some sort of positions, right? If you actually look at the cash market ka daily position, FI as usual they sold like 1500 crores of stock. All the negative news that's been piling up makes the FIIs lose interest from Indian markets, even though the other markets are actually gaining it. And what the other stuff I have to say? We'll look at the USD INR ka data as well. What's been happening? So as the USD, as the INR is depreciating in terms of USD, whatever money that they have invested, let's say this year that USD INR, let's say it increased, it increased by 10%, and they, let's say assume that they made 20% return on whatever folio of equities that they made for from India. So because of the currency adjustment, they'll be making this 10% return. Why? Because the INR has fallen compared to USD. Even if they take this, take their investments out, they'll be getting less money out of it, if you understand it. Yeah, sure. So what? Okay. The FI history, net, everything looks bearish. I'll try to dissect all whatever I've said regarding the USD INR when we are actually talking about the charts. Imagine they invested 1 lakh rupees. The USD INR was at like 70 rupees. Okay? 70 rupees per dollar. Now it has fallen to 90 rupees per dollar. So if they would have invested, let's say 70,000, they invested $100 into XYZ company. Let's say they invested into Reliance back then. Now if they actually invest today's $100, they'll be able to purchase more shares of Reliance. So now if you convert it at 90 rupees, at 90 rupees per USD, they'll be able to get, for $100 they'll be able to get 9,000 rupees, right? So compared to 7,000, 9,000 is more, and they'll be able to invest more money. So because of the currency fluctuation, that's what they lost the kind of percentage return, if you are able to understand, on the basis of this exchange. So as the USD INR depreciates, let's say the 90 becomes 100, 110, they make less returns on whatever the money they invest in. If it actually if the INR becomes strong, they'll be able to make more returns. That is how the correlation works. So if we look at what's been happening to S&P, S&P is almost at its all-time high. What's happening into the dollar index? If you actually look at what is dollar index, dollar index is basically USD versus gold. So we measure that what's been happening into the what's the value of dollar in terms of gold. So like when the dollar index rises up, the gold falls, but it does not happen necessarily, but that's the theory is. So gold is at all-time high, silver has been killing it, and it is at 279 today. It went up by 3.74%. again you draw everything support resistance, and when the USD INR, let's say today also, let's say this appreciated, right? That means INR depreciated, and you'll be able to understand that every time this thing happens, the markets will actually fall down because the kind of returns that FIs are making are less. Nasdaq is did break a important resistance, and actually it's sustaining above the resistance, which is actually very good. So what is happening to small cap index? Seems like some sort of support, early support signs. What's been happening into BTC? BTC is also gaining some sort of momentum, maybe forming some sort of reverse head and shoulder. Reverse head and shoulder tells us that the pattern might go up. You can see from the previous data. That is our analysis. Looks like until unless it does not break this 25,500, maybe it is not going to go down. But we have to see what the next picture is going to paint, because the other markets are also rising at the same point of time. Let's see what will happen to Asian markets if the news around the tariffs don't come to be truly. Then only we'll be able to then we'll be able to say that the markets might actually go up. If Trump poses more tariff, maybe the markets actually might fall down. Yeah, and that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and you can check out our website for any of the courses related stuff. And I'll see you tomorrow. The daily market analysis for tomorrow. Thank you so much, and keep your capital safe. That is it from my side. I'm Dhruv Malani, hosting this particular channel, and this is the day one of actually doing it. Thank you.